My presentation on China's Cultural Revolution. First off, the Great Leap Forward. The Great Leap Forward was Mao Zedong's plan to quickly industrialize China by using its large peasant population in 1958. Mao Zedong was a Chinese communist leader. The non-stop labor mainly consisted of the manufacturing of crude steel and farming crops at government-run communes. During these times, the government was lying about the production rates. They told the workers that the production rates were breaking records, even though they weren't. Later on, widespread disease and starvation started to affect many of the workers. Mao's Great Leap Forward ended in 1962 and had an estimate of 23 to 25 million deaths. Secondly, the swim. Mao was known for being an excellent swimmer. He used his strong swimming ability as a symbol of his ideology. In 1956, Mao swam across the Yangtze River. This was China's biggest river, and he did it in 3 highly publicized swims. The purpose of the swim was to demonstrate that big things did not intimidate him. He also started the Great Leap Forward soon after the swim. 10 years later, there were rumors that Mao was ill and he was reaching an end to his life. To dispel these rumors of his failing health, he was going to swim the Yangtze again. The swim made the front page of China's newspaper, reporting that Mao swam 9 miles in a span of 65 minutes. This meant that a 72-year-old shattered world records regarding swimming speeds. Many people outside of China laughed when they heard the news and didn't take it seriously. Though other people were scared because they assumed that Mao was going to do something sinister again. They were worried that he was going to start another long period of disastrous turmoil put on China, considering that the last time he swam the river, he started the Great Leap Forward. These people have been correct too. Lastly, the Chinese Cultural Revolution. A little bit before the swim, Mao had announced the beginning of his great proletarian cultural revolution. The purpose of this was to hunt and eliminate members of the bourgeoisie who had snuck into the party. In other terms, he just wanted to purge the government of anyone who disagreed with the ideas of Maoism. Then it kicked into high gear after the swim. This promoted a craze for swimming and a craze of Mao. Mao succeeded in influencing China's youth the most, which was who he was aiming for. Concentrated in Chinese cities, millions of Chinese youth organized into the fanatical Red Guards. With Mao's approval, they wreaked havoc in the name of the Cultural Revolution. Their mission was to destroy the Four Olds. The Four Olds consisted of old culture, old ideology, old customs, and old traditions. The idea was to tear down the remnants of imperial China and rewrite history centered around Mao. Cultural sites were being destroyed, streets were renamed, and people who opposed Mao's ideas were violently humiliated, tortured, and often murdered. Citizens carried in their pockets forms of Mao's Little Red Book, which held a collection of his sayings and beliefs. Even though many of his Red Guards were dissolved in 1969, the Cultural Revolution was considered to have lasted until Mao's death in 1976. His death ended a decade of a destruction that had brought the leader to godlike levels. Though 1 million people had died during this, and even generations after the revolution, China was still scared from all of the mayhem that took place. Also, my 4 questions. What was the purpose of the Great Leap Forward? What was the significance of Mao swimming the Yangtze River? What was the purpose of the Chinese Cultural Revolution? And how did citizens of China view Mao versus how people outside of China viewed him?